Hey there, buffaloes and bunnies. It's weather report for Wednesday, September 28th. And I'm 2 days away from 26,200 days old. And that's really fucking old. I'm tired.
I think I'm at
Need a nap. What?
I think I'm at 21,463, something like that.
Yeah. Now, pictured on the screen, I don't know if anybody, I don't know if my iPhone, maybe, I don't know what's wrong with the iPhone camera, but anyway, that is Thor trying to take a nap and watch television, trying to chill out, and that is Snack riding him. So you can see
the gray is the kitty cat who has grown quite a bit, and the black is Thor.
Yeah, and he's got white paws, because he's a tuxedo. So, yep. Thought I'd share that with you. That's what I go through daily. Sometimes he rides them around the room, which is pretty funny. So, what do we got going here? Let's see.
Well, we have some things in the description.
We can do.
Kind of pull them up and show them to everybody. Let's see. Pull up the Gutsick Gibbon video.
Oh, enemy playbook. Okay.
Hello, Kayla. Good to see you.
Yeah. Okay. There we go. No, I don't. Why am I not seeing it? Oh, there it is.
Do I need to share my screen?
Just things are moving a little slow today, Scott. Just try to have some fucking patience and try to have, a little empathy, Scott. So
I don't know. I'm practically a sociopath. I am an atheist.
Okay. Nope, not that. Whoops. There we go. That's a given. New differences between the human brain and the Neanderthal brain. So that was today?
That was today. It's about a 16-minute long video. And is somebody doing a calculator?
James is typing. I muted you, James. Just unmute when you're ready.
Okay. And the paper that she featured for that 16-minute period of time is called... I'm sorry. I was about to pull up the wrong one.
Called Human TKTL1?
Yeah.
Implies greater neurogenesis. That's interesting. So what do we got here?
They're apparently involved in it was putting human TKT1 or whatever it's called in a mouse and see what happens to its brain, and then putting the Neanderthal version of it in a mouse. I think I'd have to go back and listen to it closely. I was interrupted a few times during that video, but it's very interesting. And it's a way to kind of figure out, to at least infer how differently the Neanderthals' brains were wired differently than ours. We look at brain case size a whole lot when we talk about paleontology, but the question is, what really made the difference between the success of the Homo sapiens and then the downfall of the Neanderthals? And that's just one way to try to figure out what some of the more subtle differences might have been that gave us the advantage in the long run. Of course, part of it is that some of the other hominid species, Homo species, were kind of incorporated into us a little bit, into our populations. But there's other things that made us outdo them.
So making them go extinct by attacking them and stuff.
Yeah. Part of it is mating with them, and most of it is probably with violence, or just out competing. If the Homo sapiens get there first and get all the food, and the Neanderthals have to work harder and go further and go without for longer, that's going to hurt them. Lamont is in the side chat. Hello, Lamont.
So apparently one amino acid change in this transketolase like 1 protein, which is involved in your brain development. There's something that the basal radial glia is like a network that the neurons sort of climb up and organize your cortex, and that's how your all the different lobes and areas of your brain might be organized. So it might have something to do with that. And they claim that there are pretty big differences between humans and Neanderthals and apes in that wiring plan, right? So we ended up with a larger. I've talked about this before. There are loops that go through, throughout your cortex, which is on the surface of your brain, and your basal ganglia, the area that's at the center of your brain that has your thalamus, and it has all sorts of circuitry in it, right? And there are loops that go through that in every part of your brain, your motor cortex, your somatic cortex, and your frontal lobes. And it appears that humans have this swelling, like this much bigger area in the frontal cortex that other primates do not have. And according to this paper, they're suspecting that Neanderthals didn't have it. Now, that swelling in the cortex has been, there's a hypothesis that it gives us an extra loop so that our working memory can do more tricks, so we can keep more things in. Like, for instance, we can be thinking about something while we're thinking about it. So you can think about thinking, right? Which possibly other animals don't have enough circuitry to be able to pull that off. And then because we can do it once, we can do it again and again and again. It's sort of like recursive, right? Mm-hmm. So we have this ability to do a little bit more introspection of our ideas and map out spatial things much better. So the chances are that we were much better at planning shit in the future, and even having a better grasp of the future, so that we could lay things out and we could set traps and set plans and stuff like that. That's kind of surprising to it would be a real disadvantage if we didn't have that. It would probably lower our IQ from 100 down to 60.
Yeah.
If you give them an IQ test, because they wouldn't be able to recognize patterns and things like that. But that's very interesting.
You wonder what like tactical and strategic methods the Neanderthals used versus like Homo sapiens. What kind of dirty tricks did Homo sapiens bring into the mix once they started to perhaps campaign against groups of Neanderthals?
Yeah,
laying in wait, the kinds of weaponry, crude, obviously, primitive weaponry they would employ and things like that.
Yeah, and that gave us a great advantage. But then on top of that, we could imagine things like we could imagine our minds, and we could come up with an idea of what a mind is. And then we could start imagining that there were minds up in the sky somewhere, and that there were super minds. So what started out to be a real advantage for humans is probably going to result in our extinction or demise if we don't figure this out. Right.
Do you think we're going to figure it out? Do you guys think we're going to?
Science will slowly erode. I think what's going to happen over the next 100 years is religion is going to finally start to fall away. And I'm so surprised that it hasn't yet. And there's also a really good chance that it's going to polarize us, and we're going to end up with great wars, and that's going to be tough. But hopefully science will erode it. The more we learn about the mind, and when we start being bolder about telling the public what we know about the mind, the creationists are always accusing evolutionists of overstating their case. Neuroscientists understate their case as to how much we know about thinking, consciousness, and the mind. And the brain has been so thoroughly studied that we're at the point now where we can start to put together really good theories about mind. And when people realize, hey, my mind's it's made of meat, and it's matter. It's physical. Thinking is physical. Thinking is something that human organisms do in an Earth-like environment.
Yeah, and if you do enough of it, you're going to get tired because
you get tired.
You're physically taxing yourself when you think.
Yeah. Anyway, so I haven't watched Erica's video. I really wish I had known about it earlier. Should we watch a little bit of it, or?
It's up to you.
Oh,
we can.
Go ahead. You saw my top picks of the day. It's my last video on there.
Is that?
Link. Yep.
How long is the link that we're going to watch? How long is it?
16 minutes.
Now on your little quadrant here, the top of it's kind of cut off.
Oh yeah, I've got it scrolled up. So I don't want to play it all, but I do want to play this part.
I'm not hearing it.
I like her intro, but I can't tell what the words are.
Yeah, we're not hearing the. At least I'm not hearing the
audio.
Music. Yeah, I'm not hearing the music.
I can somewhat hear it.
Oh shit! Okay, let's try that again. So let me know if this is an improvement. So.
Very loud.
Yeah. Okay. So that was that fucking noise cancellation. Every now and then, noise cancellation cuts out my audio.
Too loud. I think noise cancellation takes out the music.
Yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Does anybody here know what the words are to that intro? Because I always wanted to ask her, but
there's a song. I'll have to find it in my the green one, the music thing.
Does she credit them all the time?
Yeah.
Let's see, where is it here? Support the channel, source, DOI. No, not today. She's
not crediting it.
No,
she told me, and I think I played it in my.
Yeah, you can.
Spotify. Let me do the little research. Y'all continue.
Okay, we'll do that. So I don't want to watch the whole thing, but I don't want to snipe Erica, but we could probably do a little bit, maybe.
But yeah, click on her video and watch it, and you will be amazed.
How much should we watch?
And 300,000 years ago, we emerged and shared the planet with half a dozen, if not more, other hominids. We shared the planet at that time with Neanderthals, Neanderthalensis, Denisovans. We shared it with Homo floresiensis.
Volume check, everything good?
It sounds good.
Yeah.
Okay, because I got to turn down.
And Homo luzonensis, as well as Homo naledi, and depending on who you talk to, perhaps even Homo erectus and others. So why are we the last ones? The answer to this question has been traditionally just kind of a vague gesturing at humans are smarter, but this idea has been taking some hits with the continued discovery of Neanderthal skulls and the finding that their average brain case size is at the level of, if not greater than, Homo sapiens. Not only that, but the more we learn about Neanderthal culture, the more we understand that they were very similar to the humans living at that time period, especially in the fact that they had this broad material tool culture that they used to.
Okay, let's try to get to the paper part.
Say we have the skulls and the imprint that and the frontal lobe is responsible for primarily cognition, and with that, critical thinking. These are, of course, massive simplifications, but I hope that it can at least get across to you the idea that while Neanderthals and humans both had big brains, they had a focus on different things. So perhaps then wiring is where we need to look. Of course, that can't do that with the skull, so scientists have turned to genetics, which is perfect because we have the human genome as well as the Neanderthal genome and Denisovans as well as some more archaic human DNA. Now, we've obviously isolated several differences in humans and Neanderthals. However, I want to focus on one very specific difference that was recently sussed out. This paper came out just a few days ago, and it's called Human Transketolase-like 1 implies greater neurogenesis in frontal neocortex of modern humans than Neanderthals. Okay, what does all of this mean, right? I want to break it down for you. So transketolase-like 1 is a type of enzyme. Enzymes are types of proteins, and proteins are created via protein synthesis. You remember protein synthesis from middle school and high school. This is transcription, which happens in the nucleus, and then, of course, we tread on out into the cytoplasm at the ribosome specifically, where translation happens, and you get this nice little string of amino acids that together constitute a protein. The type of protein is determined by what amino acids you're creating and then the order of those amino acids. In the case of proteins, you need 50 or more of these amino acids all strung together. And the difference we're talking about.
Okay. So I guess that's one amino acid. And I believe, and I can't remember my anatomy that well, but I believe the third ventricle is where I was telling you that human beings have this swelling that pushes. Okay, ventricles are like these spaces in your brain where you have the spinal fluid. They're sort of like cushioning spaces. But at the very front of our, I believe it's the third ventricle, there's a huge swelling in human beings that no other mammal has. And that's where they're doing the conjecture that we have this extra loop. And it could be that one amino acid caused that to happen, because it would have shifted the field of development just very slightly. So that is interesting.
They, between humans and Neanderthals, is a single amino acid substitution, one in that 50 or more chain, and it has a drastic impact on phenotype.
And that is not always the case. Oftentimes you can change hundreds of amino acids in a protein and not have an effect, but every now and then there's one change that will change the conformation of that protein enough to make a big difference. So we have to be careful that we don't believe it's one way or the other, because it is a range of things that could happen for the change.
So this paper isn't open access yet, so if you want to read the whole thing, you might
Right.
have to consult some kind of science hub for that. But I will be going over what is published and, having read the paper through my institution, adding some additional comments here and there. In this first section on Neanderthal brain development, they note Neanderthal brains were similar in size to those of modern humans, but different in shape. We already talked about this earlier. What we cannot tell from fossils is how the Neanderthal brains might have differed in function or organization of brain layers, such as the neocortex. So for those of you who don't know, the neocortex is like colloquially known as the mammalian brain, and it's pretty complicated. Birds have kind of their own version of it, but the neocortex is generally associated with sort of higher function. Pinson et al. Have now analyzed the effect of a single amino acid change on the transketolase-like 1 protein on the production of basal radial glia, the workhorses that generate much of the neocortex. Modern humans differ from apes and Neanderthals by this single amino acid change. When placed in organoids or overexpressed in non-human brains, the human variant of transketolase-like 1 drove more generations of neuroprogenitors than did the archaic variant. The authors suggest that the modern human has more neocortex to work with than the ancient Neanderthal did.
That is pretty cool.
I know, that's wild. Just one other very cool way that inference is a major tool in science, and when creationists want to doubt it, they do so selectively. But it's just a brilliant strategy to get some idea of, how Neanderthals and Homo sapiens might have been different in their wiring.
Ooh, went from a lysine to an arginine. Oh, that's a big change.
Calm yourself, Speed. We're running a show.
It's a big change. My goodness. Lysine to arginine. Oh, nah, it ain't that big.
James, can I ask you a personal question?
Sure. As long as the statute of limitations has ran out, you can ask.
Okay. Yeah. Do not violate your fundamental constitutional rights. What has excited you this week so far, including the weekend?
What has excited me?
Yeah.
I had some synchronicity, for example.
Ooh.
So, and I thought about putting together a video about it. It was about how we create. We are co-creators with the universe in terms of creating our own reality, and I kept stumbling. Like in a 5-minute period of time, 4 different complete statements about that were from unrelated links. I wasn't even looking for that. That's not what I was researching at all. And I would open a link, and it would be that would be the topic, and I'd be like, "That's not what I'm looking for." And then I'd go through, and one thing would lead to the next. I'd open another link, and they're talking about that all over again. And these are not related topics. Happened 4 different times in 5 minutes, and I'm like, "Wow, talk about synchronicity." So I took screenshots of all of it. And I thought about making a video about it. That was one of the things because synchronicity just always when it happens, it's like, whoa, it kind of sets me back. We've talked about that before. I think Mike, you and I have a little bit talked about synchronicity.
Yep. Yeah, we did did on the Amateur Conversationalist. That was our opening show, wasn't it? Synchronicity.
Yeah. Yep.
About it, yeah. Yep.
And that was one of the more exciting things, like to happen, like intellectually, I suppose you could say.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I screwed up Logan Fisher. For some reason, lysine and I thought isoleucine. So lysine and arginine both have. They're similar, except arginine is a little more complex. It's an isomer, but other than that, it has the same structure. But it's interesting that small change would create that big a change in patterning, and it has to do with a little bit of stereochemistry. We'd have to look at the way the protein folds and figure out a whole lot of other stuff about how it acts in order to figure that out. But they are very similar. Lysine and arginine are almost interchangeable. So anyway,
yeah. Now that we've had that major breakthrough in protein folding, like I know that so many discoveries are gonna like unravel from there.
Yeah, with that Google.
Yep.
That system, and that is going to be important. But I could probably download both those proteins and put them in that little protein visualizer I have, and we could take a look at the structure. But this paper is not available even on some of the hubs where we normally get papers. So this is a very new paper.
Maybe because she's a PhD student, she gets access to all the good papers.
Yeah. So anyway, Jay Bundy mentioned something about him teaching at Normandale in Minneapolis, which is just down the street from me, and I've been to Normandale. It's a community college that's now combined with Mankato's 4-year college. So it's a pretty big school, and it is about a couple, maybe 2 miles from me to drive to it. I was pretty excited about that. But anyway, and Mankato, of course, is famous for where they seized the Pillow Guy's cell phone.
That's right. They ought to do some sort of celebratory memorial there or something.
Right. Yeah, at the Hardys where they seized his cell phone. The My Pillow guy. You heard about that, James?
Oh yeah, the My Pillow guy. He's always good for a train wreck.
Yeah, he's good for it. He unfortunately is from Minnesota, and he actually talks like those people on Fargo.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck, because nobody else here talks like that. I don't know why he does. I don't know where. He probably come from some little shithole town.
I wonder if the people in Fargo are embarrassed by him.
The people in Fargo actually the people in rural areas around Fargo, North Dakota, actually talk like they do on that movie.
Mm-hmm.
Almost as.
I talked to a lady from Michigan who grew up in Michigan who kind of talked like that.
Yeah, I guess that's disease.
Yeah, there's a lineage or something. I call it some sort of subcultural lineage.
Well, there's a lot of iron in the water around, Minnesota, so I think maybe that accounts for some of the heavy metal problems. Neonatal heavy metal. Maybe it picks up our TKTL1 gene. I don't know. Just guessing.
And you gotta wonder why a god, quote unquote, would design a world where there's no way to know what water sources are safe, what ground is safe to plant in, right? So you could be drinking water that's gonna completely kill you from arsenic or something else, or heavy metals, and not even know. Like, if you had babies or toddlers or whatever, naive sentient entities, and you let them loose in this minefield of super dangers, and didn't even bother to color code things, didn't bother to give them any basic instructions first on how to tell what's safe and what's not. Like, people always tell me about, look at, intelligent design. I'm like, if there's design there, it's psychopath design, and we really need to talk about that. So
yeah, yep,
yeah, boy, lots of stuff that was killing us and we didn't even know it. Was shortening our lives, was impeding our development of our brains.
Right.
It would have been good to know.
Yeah, but then Florida's getting its ass kicked. Maybe there's some justice.
I know there's I got a coworker in the path of that thing, so
okay,
not so funny.
We have immutable destiny. I mean, for some reason, I just don't consider Florida part of the United States anymore. I think it was a foreign country.
Yeah.
Gosh, I always keep wondering to myself how many of these Category 5 hurricanes are going to hit Florida before it's just kind of eroded away under the ocean without any sea level rise.
Oh,
yeah,
I hadn't thought about that.
A lot of sand and swamp over there. It's it's not water in this world. So yeah, that's why DeSantis wants to get out of being Florida's governor and move to the White House to higher ground.
Oh, that'll be great for us. Nobody can manage Florida, yet they think they can manage the United States.
Oh,
yeah, right.
Geez.
Yeah, he was on saying, "Hey guys, this is serious. This is real. This hurricane thing is real." And then a year ago, he was on saying, "Oh, this COVID thing is a fake, and it's bullshit." And it's like, gee, it took a hurricane to get you to fucking warm up to the science.
Well, I mean, he's missing an opportunity too, because Trump still has the magic Sharpie pen that he uses to redirect the paths of hurricanes. So
nuclear weapons.
Yep. Yeah. Sharpie pens and nuclear weapons. Yep.
Putin's probably thinking along those lines himself.
Right. Jeez.
I am in a dark fucking mood. I want to warn everybody: do not listen to anything I say.
Yeah, he got a big shipment of dark chocolate in the other day, and he's just in a dark mood now.
I care about the people in Florida. I really do. I just can't feel like I care right now, and I'm, and that's probably just me. It's not.
Sometimes your give a shit just kind of takes a hit, and you have to recover.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I go through that sometimes, and I'm sure a lot of people go through that.
Compassion fatigue.
So
that's a better way to put it. Leave it to me to put it the crudest way.
I mean, you run out of fucks to give, and you got to plant some more and wait for them to grow. That's just how it works.
Exactly. It takes them a long time to develop roots.
Luckily, you can plant fucks to give year round.
Yeah.
It's not that big of a deal.
Sure.
So
they grow
we
quick.
move on to the science now?
What?
What?
Who are you saying what to?
I was asking you what.
Oh, can we move on to the science now?
I thought we were there. I thought we were. About science. Yeah, we'll move there eventually. But I kind of want to make a comment. I want to comment about something. So last Friday, I hit the wall. I run manic and hot for about 3.5, 4 weeks, sometimes months, 2 months at a time. And I hit a wall of depression. And it took me 4 days to figure out that I was depressed. I didn't even know I was depressed. I thought I had the flu. I thought something else was wrong. I thought it had to do with a project that I had something to do with. But it's really weird. And then I noticed that I wasn't taking the daily medication I'm supposed to be taking for blood pressure. And it's like, what the fuck? Why would I forget that? And I noticed a few other things, but then all of a sudden it hit me. Oh, you hit the wall. You're depressed again. So it's something really interesting about depression, that it removes your ability to realize that is what you are suffering from. And then when I realized I'm suffering from it, I started to climb out again. And apparently I'm not entirely out of the pit yet, but I just have to acknowledge what it is. And then it's really interesting. Then, I'll talk to somebody about it and they'll say, oh, why are you depressed? And like, there is no fucking why. The why is because I'm a human being, because I have blood flowing through my veins. There are neurotransmitters being created and used. And that's why I'm depressed. It doesn't have anything to do with, events can trigger it, but they're triggering something that is physiologically going to fucking happen to you, whether you want
it's
it
like
to.
events can also, like, it depends on the kind of depression, because your depression is different from my depression, will be different from James's or whomever's depression. But like the other night, I was kind of sitting watching TV and just feeling kind of down. I was feeling lonely, and I thought, dang it, it's always going to be like this, blah, blah, blah. And then I thought to myself, are you really feeling this way, or is this your depression trying to, get the better of you? And I started thinking to myself, one or two conditions could change, and it would just like totally rewire my brain, or light up certain parts of my brain that aren't lit up right now. And I wouldn't even think in these terms. I wouldn't even think like that.
Right.
It's weird what happens in the brain. So I decided I tried to shake it off anyway. It's still, but it comes, it comes and follows you, and you have to use strategies sometimes to keep it at bay.
Right. One of my favorite strategies lately is connecting with you wonderful people here on YouTube. The people on screen with me now, and the people in chat, the people that are in our network. So many wonderful people that remind me every day that the world isn't as dark as it seems, and that there's a lot of good people out there. And I greatly appreciate that. Like, immensely, it has helped me.
Well, it's been a delight that you've started joining us over here, and it's always a welcoming space whenever I'll poke my nose in at your channel as well, and I appreciate that welcomeness.
Yes, I love it when we network that way. It's a wonderful thing. So that's all I want to say. I don't want to get all like sappy and teary-eyed, and everybody that's wanted to add that.
That's okay. Sap is okay here. This is a sap safe zone. It's like a little Canada here. Lots of maple syrup sap.
That's what it is too. Appreciate it.
And apparently, Speed is shopping for a new suit.
I've seen that video before. I know what it is. I'm going to let him run with it.
Yeah. Yeah. The hang on a second. I just inhaled a cat. Damn it.
Talking about a fur ball. Go ahead.
Oh my God. I cough up fur balls all day long. Anyway, the point I wanted to make is that, depression is a physical thing. What you're going to do is you're going to find all kinds of things in your life. Like I can say, oh, my son has COVID. That bummed me out. I had an anniversary last week. That was, kind of a tough one. And there's all these things, right? But that's just your way of looking at things. And you're looking at those things because of a physiological thing that's happening to you. And the thing about depression is that if you're, unless you are seriously ill with a depressive syndrome, it will lighten up within a few days. And you just have to tell yourself, hey, this is the price I have to pay for being fucking manic for 3 weeks. So, and it's a price I willingly pay because my manic periods are, I've learned to manage them so wonderfully that I'm just jumping around and dancing and just fucking loving life for 95% of it. I just have to pay back a little bit with the 5%. Nothing pisses a depressed person off worse than somebody asking you, well, why are you depressed? Can I fix you? It's like, no, you can't fucking fix this. It's like, it just happens. And it's like, like, okay, well, we got to eat a little ice cream. We got to just take care of ourselves. Anyway, or listen to this.
Yeah.
Huh?
Go ahead.
And speaking of Canadian, there's Randolph Richardson in the side chat.
Hey, Randolph.
Hey, Randolph.
I tried, and I tried even more. I cried, and I can't recall what for. I pressed, I pushed, I yelled and begged in hopes of some success. But the inevitable fact is that it never will impress. I've no more fucks to give, my fucks have runneth dry. I've tried to go fuck shopping, but there's no fucks left to buy. I've no more fucks.
Okay, I'm probably going to get a strike on that one.
Yeah, the whole video is great, but yeah, I don't know how
That should be public domain for its therapeutic value.
It should be.
I got to put that in my description. So anyway, okay, Top Dog, you got a video you want to show us?
It's about what happened Monday. It was live. NASA ran into an asteroid, or not just an asteroid that has a moonlet.
Well, when I run into an asteroid, I get a ticket.
I can't remember if it was Colbert or the other or Seth that said NASA fucked with an asteroid, and they fucked with a little asteroid, and where's that asteroid's mama? And what's that asteroid's mama going to say after we crashed into it? Yeah, go ahead.
Well, this is 2 days before this was on a video. I mean, a video somebody put it on YouTube 2 days before for predicting what it would look like. And so when it approaches, it comes really fast. It's like 4 or 6 miles per second. And here's the actual footage that happened Monday. They had lots of frames, or it's hard to explain because satellites don't really transmit too much information because it's hard to do out there. So they had only certain frames they could do.
Yeah, I tried freeze framing that little video, but there was no way to do it on that website for some reason. Because I wanted to see there were a lot of rocks sitting on the surface of that asteroid.
You know, I really wish I was great at like Photoshop or something. I would remake that video to where as it zooms in, you see a little Martian family having a picnic, looking up like, what the hell?
Yeah, smash. Yep.
I'm sure those are coming.
Yeah, that's pretty
Right?
good. Yep.
And then Stated Clearly posted today. Battle
Oh, I
of
didn't
the
see that.
Genes.
Well, that should be
Battle of the
interesting.
Genes. Yep.
So
Hasn't done
on
one for a long time.
So on Jay's video yesterday, he was reading a paper, and let's see here, by Robert Pennock on basically on simulations. That's one thing he did, and then somebody posted. So anyway, this is an interesting paper, and I think I'll put the name of that paper and its date in the description so people you can find it using that if you just Google it, and you'll get a copy of that paper. Anyway, it's interesting, and I just got started reading it, and Jay went through it. But then the other thing that happened is there was a debate mentioned between Miller, Pennock versus Dembski and Behe. And that is interesting. Now, Professor Dave Explains just did his video exposing the Discovery Institute Part 3, Michael Behe.
Yeah, that was a good video.
Yeah. Which, do I have that in my description? Yeah, I do. I do have
I'm
that.
sure Sal came up with a reason not to listen to more than 5 minutes of it.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. We've got to go over that video with Sel and Sygart and Rebecca, because there are some gems in there that just show such a misunderstanding of evolution. And I couldn't believe that Sygart said that. Something about well, I'll get into it later, because it's got to be technically dealt with about the multicellular organisms evolving. And it was very depressing when I heard Cy say that, because I like Cy, and I like the way, he's brilliant, and I like the way he thinks. But God, all of these people, what is it? Is it because so many people believe in this God thing and you grow up in that environment, and you see it as normal to believe that there's some kind of a thing that's outside of space and time that's controlling everything, and that thing just happens to be a hell of a lot like we are, like human beings, and then you say, oh, we're made in his image, and it's like, obviously he is made in ours, but what is it about this belief in the Bible that it completely eliminates your thinking?
I share your frustration.
Fundamentalism.
I think I'm dying. Anyway, it completely shuts off your ability to think about how a thing might happen naturally. Like, okay, if you...
Their promise for the afterlife is what's keeping them from understanding this life.
So if you believed in witchcraft, right, and there was crime in your community, and you were on a jury, and you were the judge, or you were the prosecutor, and you had all of these people that you brought before you, charged with these crimes, right, that did these crimes, but you believed that it was a supernatural influence. So you'd have to let them go because they were being affected by witches. I mean, you saw him axe murder the townspeople,
Right.
but you can't hold him accountable because you believe that he was controlled by witches, because you believe in the supernatural, and you couldn't think through some sort of a natural process where this person would have decided to do the crime by himself, right?
Right.
You'd always go to the supernatural, and that's what they do with evolution. They can't think. They don't sit down with a piece of paper and write out the steps about how multicellularity would happen, and they don't go out and look for the papers, the thousands of papers that talk about this.
No, they're more scared of looking at any real life evidence for anything that they're against.
Because somehow they think that is going to affect their belief. And I think we'll get into it a little bit here. There's a really interesting part in here.
They think like Satan's going to influence them if they watch anything real life.
Yeah, if I can find the right clip here, there's something interesting. So this is Dembski, and let's see here. Where's Dembski?
They always
Hey,
make
Speed
their
Man-
devil more
Speed-
powerful than their god.
Speed Midnight wants a link, and I don't have his email address.
Oh, how many people do we need here?
Spooky doesn't want a link, so you can not send him one.
Not send Spooky a link. Okay.
Don't send Spooky one. It's always scary when we do. I always get malware dropped into my computer. Things pop up at me like a zombie pops up on my screen and everything.
That's why I never give Jesus my email address. Do not need zombies blowing up my inbox.
Do not need that.
No.
Yeah, there's something wrong with the audio here. What is wrong with the audio?
I noticed on my emails that a lot of them don't have like names or something, and you can't even spam them. They just keep on popping up.
Okay, listen to this. What's happening?
Or is not the relatedness of all organisms. What has commonly teaches that biological complexity is not exclusively the result of material mechanisms, but also requires intelligence, where the intelligence in question is not reducible to such mechanisms. The central issue, therefore, is not the relatedness of all organisms, what is commonly called common descent. Indeed, intelligent design is perfectly compatible with common descent. Rather, the central issue is how biological.
The audio on this video is kind of low. Can you guys hear it? Okay.
Yeah.
I can hear it. There's a lot of static in it, but I can hear it.
Yeah. Okay.
Complexity,
Very close to being okay.
whether intelligence played a pivotal role in its emergence. Suppose, therefore, for the sake of argument, that intelligence, one irreducible to material mechanisms, actually did play a decisive role in the emergence of life's complexity and diversity. How could we know it? To answer this question, let's run a thought experiment. Imagine that Ellis is sending Bob encrypted messages over a communication channel, and that.
Okay, this is basically the nonsense where he's going to use a coded message as an example, and he's going to use a stream that could have been completely random. But of course, Ellis encoded a message in the stream, right? So we can detect statistically with using information theory that there was something basically encoded in this message. But I don't think you could do that unless you knew how to decode that message, unless you knew what information was in there. Otherwise, it would look as random as anything else, right?
By the
And
way,
so-
hello, Speed.
Hi there, Midnight.
By the
So-
way, hello, Midnight. How you been doing?
I've been doing well. Had a really weird fucking day. I
Weird,
can't get
huh?
into right now, but I do need to talk to Speed after the stream is done.
Okay. Yeah. This one's going to get
Boy,
shot.
what a day.
But okay. Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to find the part where he
Identifying intelligence I call specifications. In sum, Eve requires both complexity and specification to infer intelligence in the signals Alice is sending Bob. This combination of complexity and specification, or specified complexity as I call it, is the basis for design inferences across numerous special sciences, including archaeology, cryptography, forensics, and SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence. I detail this in my book, The Design Inference, a peer-reviewed statistical monograph that appeared with Cambridge University Press in 1998. So, what's all the fuss about specified complexity? The actual term specified complexity is not original with me. It first occurs in the Origin of Life literature, where Leslie Orgel used it to describe what he regards as the essence of life. That was 30 years ago. More recently, in 1999, surveying the state of origin of life research, Paul Davies remarked, quote, living organisms,
I don't care about cherry pick
to
quotes.
apply the criterion to biological
So
systems.
what's this about?
What's that?
What was this about?
This is about intelligent design.
Sleuths.
Oh.
Let's consider why.
Oh, great. Table Man is here.
Things have demonstrated that design is superfluous to understanding biological complexity. The only way to actually
You're
demonstrate
cussing CSS.
How big is your table, huh? Huh, tough guy? How big is your table?
You're just trying to encourage me to cuss CSS more.
Sorry, Speed. I was just giving Randolph some shit about
About my efficient HTML design, yeah. Sorry, carry on.
yeah, efficient, he says. Oh no, never mind. Sorry, go ahead.
Are you sure? Are you done now?
No, I mean yes.
material mechanisms that account for the various forms of biological complexity out there. Now, if for every instance of biological complexity, some mechanism could be readily produced that accounts for it, intelligent design would drop out of scientific discussion.
Okay. So what he said is if some mechanism could be found for every bit of biological complexity, then intelligent design would just shut up and go away, right?
The reason it's not going away is because people keep pushing it into the conversation. That's the only reason.
Well, there's there's that, and there's what he just said is that we need to know everything about the entire 4 billion year old past before we can come to any conclusion about whether natural processes can do it. And what he's appealing to is very simply God of the gaps.
Yeah, he's just saying you
You need
don't
to
know
know.
enough to say there is no God.
Right.
The problem with his argument is then should not the same thing apply to the idea with intelligent design, which, as Matt Dillahunty calls, just creationism dressed up in a lab coat. I like that. I think it's correct.
Yeah.
There are so many Christians who say you can't know the mind of God. So they're not even able to satisfy this on their own.
Nope.
But even if we did find all the answers and stuff through testing and stuff, they would still push it back and say he started that way.
The biggest problem is it's not science, and they're trying to put it on this level playing field with science. They haven't even gotten there yet, and I don't think they will.
There's always going to be stuff we don't know, and so what they're doing is just they have to kind of like a lake turns over ever so often. They have to just come up with some new sleights of hand to make people go, well, you don't know.
And he's one who's applying all this sophisticated mathematics about probability and statistics and basically randomness and information theory to come up with the conclusion that it could not have happened, that it's complex specified design, that it couldn't happen naturally, right? And he thinks he's proving it by coming up with a probability for how a thing could happen. But he just admitted that we don't know how it happened exactly. So
sorry, but probability is not sufficient by his own criteria that he's suggesting there, that we must know everything. And the thing is, if he can actually prove this, he should be applying for a Nobel Prize instead of going on some penny ante stage like he's doing.
Right. If we do not know what the steps were, then we can't possibly use probability to tell you how probable it is, because every step is going to carry with it its own probability.
Yeah.
Oh, John Maddox is going to hate that. He loves probability.
He shot himself in the foot there by saying we don't know, and he kind of doubles down right here. Listen to this.
But natural selection doesn't know a thing about bacterial flagellum. So how is natural selection going to take extant protein parts and co-opt them to form the flagellum?
Now he's claiming that natural selection should know about the flagellum, right? And it just so he's already basically folded his intelligent design into this idea of natural selection, that natural selection cannot work unless it is intelligent itself and it knows about the flagellum. That's the only way you could create it, which is just
convoluted.
Yeah,
he's smuggling in agency.
Yeah. And there's a structure, I forget what it's called right now, that basically was a precursor for the flagellum, which has a lot of those little rings and proteins already there. And it was, I believe it injected things into other cells. Anyway, we could get further into that. That would be a whole show. But there are a lot of good hypotheses about how this thing developed. And he just totally ignores all that because natural selection doesn't know. There's a part where Pennock comes in here. Let me see. Well, there's
Does it sound like he knows anything about natural selection then?
Sports.
It's a very small amount.
Naturally.
You guys can barely hear him, right?
His volume's about 65% of where it needs to be.
Yeah. God, I wish this was. There's no way to turn it up.
Regularly sports a modified mousetrap tie clip.
Oh,
intelligent design.
Let's see what else.
The other reason design theorists are less than impressed with co-optation concerns an inherent limitation of the Darwinian mechanism. The whole point of the Darwinian selection mechanism is that you can get from anywhere in configuration space to anywhere else.
Danikins.
Okay, small.
He talks about design theorists not being impressed with this or that about evolution or natural selection or whatever, but they don't usually steelman evolution very well. So what they're saying they're not impressed with isn't really evolution to begin with. It's a poorly stated version of evolution.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
You guys have run across an awful lot of people debating on the intelligent design side of this debate. How many have you run it across that weren't a member of an Abrahamic religion?
That's
none.
That's what I thought. Carry on then.
You know, I've encountered a few flat earthers who are not religious, but that's a good point. I've not encountered a single creationist or intelligent design advocate who's not religious. And it's almost always Christianity. There's some Muslims who are into that now too, with other religions.
Yeah, and every one of them has a backstory about how they used to be an atheist and they used to be an evolutionist. And then I was basically addicted to pornography and suddenly I saw God. And then I was saved, or I was addicted to drugs and suddenly I saw God.
So pornography and drugs prove God. Great. Sounds fantastic. Sounds like a party in the making. But when they say they used to be an atheist, I
Yeah.
accept that. I say great, because we're all born without a belief in deities until we have a concept of them. So
Right.
okay, I'll take that. No problem. I'll give you that.
Well, hang on. Now that we're bringing up, they used to be they used to be atheist trope. I've always read across these people who's like, oh, I used to be an atheist. I used to worship Richard Dawkins or Christopher Hitchens, and then I noticed that it just they're. Oh my God! I was always suspect with of the whole. I used to be an atheist story. Right, I don't know. It always rubbed me the wrong way when
Yeah, there's a lot of people that say they used to be an atheist, and what they really meant is they never really thought about it, never went to church, like they were teenagers. There was a guy on Sal Cordo's channel the other night who said, I used to be an atheist, but then when I was 6 years old, I realized that I was a sinner. And
Oh
I
my
had to
gosh,
go back
that
and-
guy must have been a
Did
troll.
Did he say 6 years old? It's like, my God, 6 years old, he was a sinner, right? What the fuck sin do you commit? Stealing somebody's marbles?
That is theft. It's their marbles.
I mean, you gotta be pretty good at. You gotta be pretty good
There
at.
are probably
sin.
some 6-year-olds in hell right now
Yeah.
because they got somebody's. I forget the kinds of marbles there are, but they stole the marbles.
Yeah, like maybe he had bad thoughts toward the stork, that brought his baby brother, or something like that. But a 6-year-old is nowhere near the point where he's gonna have all these horrible sin. I don't know. Maybe.
I have had a few Christians tell me that they were born Christian because they were born again. And then, of course, I have to say, I'm talking about your original birth.
Yeah, not that one.
I do give them props because that's a good response.
Yep. I'm not sure what else this guy says that's useful.
In biological terms,
Is he one of these guys who conflates abiogenesis into evolution?
No, I don't think so much. He picks on things like multicellularity and the eukaryotic thing, and he's got all these ideas. And then he applies mathematical probability to it, and he's looking at state spaces. But he believes that they're really close to finding a form of mathematics where they can decide on something being specified complexity. He says they're making inroads or whatever. Let's see.
It's currently 5 a.m. Sorry, it is currently 5 p.m. Central. That is all.
Yes.
Well, thank you for telling me that, Midnight. I'll shut the fuck up.
Whoa!
I'll send my watch, my phone back. I don't need to talk anymore.
It's times like this I appreciate time zones because I'm in a different time zone.
Now, it's times like this you appreciate Midnight being in the room.
So nobody can hear this guy, right?
I honestly
get back
don't
with
really give
more
a shit
talking
about this
for you.
guy. I just came on for the company.
Technology studies.
Oh, this
It
is
is great to
horrible.
see you, Midnight.
Associate.
It's great to see me too.
What we're going to look at here is the question whether.
So anyway, Pennock at 34 minutes gets up and just rips Dembski's ass apart in so many ways. And he does it by, I want you to tell me how to be an intelligent designer. And he starts asking him questions. And,
What a great approach.
And
Yeah.
and Dembski can't answer a single question with
Wow.
him yes or no questions, and Dembski cannot answer a single yes or no question.
Yeah, y'all didn't hear it because I was muted, but as soon as you said, he started asking him, show me how to be an intelligent designer, and I went, oh wow.
Yep.
So
It's
And
pretty
they only
good.
had to give one answer every time. Just say magic every time, every question.
magic.
And I don't think the audio gets any better on this. I wonder, Jay has a way to turn it up because Jay played it on his stream. Here
Jay
we go.
Pasick? Oh no, the other Jay.
Jay Bundy.
He's
I have a way to
got
turn it up too.
a complicated mixer, and he can do all kinds of crazy shit.
Yeah, it ain't much better on Jay's stream.
The second
Oh,
I have
intelligent.
up in here. There's a lot of audio stuff.
Her voice comes through better.
And chance readily accounts for any of them. There's a second requirement for Eve to know that Alice is not sending Bob random gibberish. Eve needs to observe a suitable pattern in the signal Alice sends Bob. Even if the signal is complex, it may exhibit no pattern characteristic of intelligence. Flip a coin enough times and you'll observe a complex sequence of coin flips. But that sequence will exhibit no pattern but also deeply relevant. Includes any underlying mechanism.
I'm trying to figure out where he starts.
That you can get a formal handle on.
All right.
Specified complexity is a statistical and complexity theoretic notion.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm going to skip this. This wasn't your article. I would say that.
Yeah, shit. Can't hear this enough. I'm going to have to figure out how to turn the audio up on it and reboot it. But anyway, it really is wonderful to watch Pennock make Dembski squirm. And I'm surprised that I think they cut it off in the Q&A somewhere. I wish they had done more of it, but it's pretty good watch. So it is linked in the description. I don't think we do any more with this. So anyway, what do you guys want to talk about?
How about we talk about me, the greatest person?
No.
Why?
Nope.
We're saving that for your birthday.
We're saving that for after. Yeah, for your birthday, right?
I mean, my birthday is December 2nd, so I guess I'm not gonna be waiting a while.
My birthday is in 2 days.
Oh my god, I want a cookie.
Cookie. Why don't you put snack back up on your screen there?
Snack. Oh, snack.
Yeah, snack.
Snack's sleeping. You want the real snack, or you want
the picture of snack you had pouncing on
Right.
Thor?
Now I want chocolate chip cookies. Thanks, Randolph.
These are homemade. They're really good.
Well, wow. Okay. Now I want to make homemade.
I wonder if Canadian made cookies taste better or different than American made.
Wait, what am I looking at?
That is a big, fat black cat with a little tiny gray cat jumping on his back.
Already asserting dominance? Okay, I see how that is. He's already asserting dominance.
No, he literally rides them around the room like a horse.
That's what I'm saying.
And the whole time they're going row, row, and they're hissing, and
what the fuck?
He doesn't give a shit. He thinks hissing is their way of saying hi. So it just doesn't bother him at all. He is a little asshole, and
I want a cat now. Fuck you, Speed.
He's just energetic. He's just a kitten, and he wants to play, and he wants his companion cats to play with him.
Yeah.
What could be more natural?
So when I go outside in the yard at night, I've got lights on part of the yard, but part of it is like totally dark, and so I have to go get the flashlight in order to find Snack to make sure he hasn't escaped the fence. But then I hear this like burr, burr. He makes this like rolling his R's noise when he runs. So it's like burr, burr, burr. And I can basically locate him because he can't keep his mouth shut when he's running. He has to make that noise. It's like, so then I open the door. If he's been out there long enough, he has to use the litter box, right? And he won't go out in the yard. So he comes running in at 100 miles an hour. It's just like there's this gray streak going across like a 40-foot hallway down into the laundry room.
Okay, top dog, but you're a cat. Okay, that makes sense.
It's just
So,
a name.
do you have a close-up picture of just Snack?
That's creepy.
I think I can find one.
Yeah, that
looks great.
Those cat eyes are a little creepy. Yeah, a little. They're basically psychopathic eyes. Yeah.
Oh
So
yeah, that's what he does. He zooms in more. Okay, top dog, I see how it is.
In other words, they're proper cat size. Okay, that sounds like you passed the test.
Yeah.
Well done, Top Dog.
Oh, let's see.
I'm serious. Cat's eyes are like that.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if that's a video.
I must be strong. I must not order sweets. I blame Randolph for planting that idea.
You're welcome. I hope it's helped.
Dang, it's a wholesome idea.
I mean, if somebody gives me $20, I'll do it, but I'm not spending my money.
Oh, wholesome, you say?
So, just to let everybody else out there know, I'm fielding, I'm looking for prospects for anybody that wants to co-host with me on my channel. Sometimes I'm having a hard time finding people to come on. Like, even if it's just once a week, I like to schedule something for someone to come on and talk about topics that our community, that our community cares about.
If you send me an email, like in the morning sometime, I would be happy to come on. I always try to find out when you go live, and then by the time you have gone live, I'm ready to take a nap.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel like taking a nap in the middle of my streams a lot of times, but you know,
I'm taking a nap right now, so
you win. You win.
James, contact me privately. I'll put my contact info in the private chat for you. I'd be happy to come on once in a while.
Wait, who's saying that?
Randolph.
Oh, okay, awesome, Randolph. Thank you. Yep.
Yeah, Randolph. He's the president of Atheism, so he makes stump appearances all the time on different channels.
Nice.
Well, Canadian Atheists, the organization. I'm not a. There's no president of atheism per se.
In our hearts, you're the president of atheism, Randolph. Who are you kidding?
Is that a different position than Godfather?
It's awfully close.
It's about the same. Politics is like the mafia, isn't it?
Exactly. And the Old Testament God.
Wow. Oh, he's so violent. So, Speed, what else happened in that presentation? You were saying somebody came on and totally destroyed him?
Yeah, that Robert Pennock, the guy that works with Jay Bundy at Michigan State. He just asked him questions, and he was basically trying to get him to, instead of just with the rhetoric, right, to actually talk about intelligent design and what he could and couldn't say, and a couple other interesting things. But he just sort of handed him his ass. And Dembski was clearly irritated, which was wonderful to watch. I can't find any good snack pictures. I don't know. Oh, let's see. I got a snack movie, apparently. Nope, I'm not playing that. Anyway, I'll get some good snack pictures for you. I should go drag his ass in.
Is that the first link in the description?
So, wait, you named your cat Snack?
Yeah.
No, he didn't name her or him.
Loki and Thor did.
So wait. Did you mean to tell me? You know what? Never mind.
Okay, so my niece was asking me for suggested names for snack, and I asked Loki and Thor, and they came up with two names for snack. One was Snack, and the other one was Delicious. And we decided to go with Snack. So, unfortunately,
cat, you can name it Delicious, and then when you call them for dinner, you can yell at the neighborhood Delicious Snack.
Yeah.
What in the fuck is wrong with you, Speed?
Yeah. Anyway,
I thought you were going to ask me that question just now.
Well, it was sort of a joke because I thought my big cats would beat him up, and as it's turned out, they haven't.
Okay, you know what?
They're not.
You know what? I'm ordering
Boy
cookies.
named
Fuck
Story
you,
for the
Randolph.
cat's name. Huh?
I'm ordering cookies. Fuck you, Randolph.
Yeah, I love you too, man.
Go back to using tables, you hack.
This is all that's left.
God damn it.
Hey, I have a point of order here. Speed.
Description?
In the description, I don't see a link to that Robert Pennock Behe debate.
You are exactly correct, because
okay,
I forgot to put it in there, but I'm going to go fix that right now.
Okay, just I wanted to kind of watch that because I I like the idea of Robert Pennock
Christ,
destroying somebody.
worst cookies ever. You know what? I'll give you that one. I will give you that one.
Oh, I'll bet you the Children's Television Workshop just loves having Cookie Monster memed.
Right?
Hey, it's good for them that people keep interested in their show then.
Well, they're probably, the churches are probably memeing Cookie Monster too.
I mean, we joke about it, but eventually churches will start offering tasting wafers and better tasting alcohol and, free Wi-Fi and
Yeah, that's how they'll
massage
stand
chairs.
out from other denominations.
Yeah.
This one's for you,
that's the way to
Steve,
go.
because you just
Yeah.
mentioned earlier about how the cats are riding on the backs of other animals.
Yep.
Wait, hang on. Raccoons are saddle-breaking feral hogs and riding them into battle against the possums. The media probably won't cover this.
Yeah, that's where
Forget Planet of the Apes. This is Planet of the Raccoons.
Yeah.
You know what's hilarious, right?
J.R.R. Tolkien got his best ideas from pictures like this.
Oh my gosh. What's hilarious is Otangel's probably seeing that saying, man, that sounds like it's probably true.
Okay, that's a little creepy. Holy shit, let's look at that. Look at that.
His ears
Look
are
at
going to be
that.
burning now. He'll be here any minute.
Benghazi suggested Fluffykins. Now, Benghazi, you don't know this fucking cat. You would not
Hi,
name him
Wes.
Fluffykins.
Maybe
You would
that
call
should
him-
be our new safe word, Fluffykins.
Fluffykins. You would call him
Fluffykins.
Satan or, I don't know what the fuck. Osama bin Laden.
What is wrong with you people? Why am I in here? What is
I
going
don't
on?
know, Midnight. Why do you hang around with us?
Yeah,
we're
you
working.
voluntarily decided to come in here.
You're the one blaming us. And you're the one who came in
Okay,
here.
you know what? That's fucking awesome. That is awesome. Okay, a raccoon taking
Right
control of a fucking alligator. Like, look at that. The
badass
alligator
right
just
there.
lets it happen. Like, what
That's
the
badass. That's
the
awesome.
fuck?
Yeah, and that raccoon's name is Snack.
For now.
Well, that's what they named him posthumously.
Well, see, that's what a crocodile names everything.
Yeah.
Snack.
Snack.
I should just leave
Snack,
you up
snack,
there.
snack, snack,
My
snack.
goodness.
Aw.
Snack,
Yeah,
snack.
right.
Bob
Oh,
Ross.
that's
is
so
just cool.
cute.
Bob
Aw,
Ross is
I
just
love
cool.
raccoons. Little trash pandas wannabe.
Yeah, I had this half wolf, half German Shepherd, and he killed a raccoon, and the raccoon had a litter of babies. So we took the babies into our house and fed them with a bottle, and they were the cutest damn little things. And then we ended up driving them to Wisconsin. The DNR, my ex-wife called the DNR and asked, we got these 6 baby raccoons. What do we do with them? And he said, well, ma'am, they're quite prolific. What I suggest is you put them in a garbage bag and hook them up to your tailpipe.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and we said, fuck you. So we drove them to a rescue place in Wisconsin, and they lived happily
Wow.
ever after.
Wow.
But we raised
Good
them
story.
for the first 6 weeks. But yeah, but how cruel. He actually told her that. That was his recommendation, that we carbon monoxide the little fuckers. It's like, have you heard of Nazis? Do you know anything about Jesus?
It sounds like he needs a lesson. He needs a lesson with some rocks in a sock kind of lesson.
Yeah, something like that.
Because he's probably, if he's suggesting stuff like that, he's probably hurting animals.
Yeah. Worked for the DNR. Anyway, can we shoot ahead, guys?
Yes, because I do want to talk to
Snacks, I
you.
got one more. Speaking of snacks, I got one more here for you.
One more snack?
One more snack meme.
Alehu snack bar. Get the special kebab combo. Okay, you know what?
Yeah,
know
that's
what?
what I'm gonna.
Read the rest of it.
You know what?
Read the rest of it.
I'm going to order a sandwich and a cookie shake, and I'm gonna blame Randolph for it.
Well, as long as you're eating healthy, I'm happy to take the blame.
Oh, that's healthy, okay?
Allahu snack bar. Get the special kebab combo with falafel and a soda for just $5.
That's pretty
Nice.
What is wrong with you people? Again, why am I here? By the way, Speed, shoot it in the head because It's merciful.
Yep.
So
Okay, so I got stuff in the description, which you guys are better off watching yourself because.
I just have 12 more things. That's all. 12 more.
Oh, we got to hear those things first. Let's turn it over to Scott here.
Okay,
we can do it tomorrow.
assholes.
We can do it Wednesday or Friday. Today's Wednesday, right? We can do
Yes.
it.
There is only power. And now I have the power.
Where's that from? Holy shit! Is that like a He-Man reboot?
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, it
He-Man,
is.
Masters of the Universe,
Yeah, I
or
think
maybe
so.
He-Ra.
It's on Netflix. It's the trailer for the He-Man
We're
reboot.
still live.
Yeah, I know we are.
Oh, I thought you were shooting in the head.
So
I
you
am?
guys gave me a great idea. I want to do a spoof now of Bob Ross as God painting the universe, and then have him say something like, "And over here we'll put in some happy little flesh-eating bacteria." It's
There we
like,
go. Flashy.
Oh,
that'd
that's
be a
good.
great skit.
Yeah, that would
Oh,
be.
this one will make you bleed out of the eyeballs and ear holes. Oh, yes.
What?
Okay, guys. We're going. Goodbye,
Yep.
cruel world.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
He-Man.